the show. We're really happy to have you here on Bugbear's Basement. Of course, I am Chester C. Busby III coming at you, and we got ourselves a nice bit of role playing we're going to be doing today, continuing Gehenna Rising in our Vampire the Masquerade Boston by Night world that we're playing. And we're having a lot of fun with it. We're enjoying it and hoping you guys are as well. We've been seeing a pretty heavy group come in and hang with us for a couple hours, just listen to us role play. And that's really cool, I think. So we appreciate that. Do keep it in mind. Check out all our links down below. We do, of course, have our fan speak. If you're not part of that, please join that. We also have our link to Dinale, who's doing his Immortal Mask, and he has his mailing list to that. Now, of course, it's changed a little bit over time, but one of the things that's interesting about the Immortal Mask, if you're interested in hearing it, we were originally talking about doing creating our own RPG. I had an RPG system, and DeWolf had one as well, and his is very interesting, kind of unique, and I don't know what he's going to do with it, but we were just kind of we're trying to create some characters, and then we came up with the I think it was Denali, correct, came up with the idea of doing like a theater, a radio theater show here, and we still should probably do that. But and we went through, we trying to come up with this character, and we got this thing fleshed out and idea, and then Denali taken it and run with it and adapted it and made it something cooler. So we're really looking forward to see what he does with that. Of
Yep.
course, he doesn't share anything. He's stingy.
Yep.
He
Yep.
is Ebenezer.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Yes,
And
but it is
everything
pretty cool.
yeah, it's really cool. I'm waiting for you guys to see it, but when it's ready, it'll be done. But yeah, basically, yeah, this is a wholly original character. Uh, after the Wolf and you, Chester, decided to focus on other interests, I kind of went back to stage one and rebuilt it from the ground up. So completely original. I'm very excited to see that. Sorry that I'm kind of late. I'm having some internet issue. We have a tropical depression where I'm at. So my internet's for whatever reasons coming in and out. So I might drop off at any time. So I'm just letting you guys know that ahead of time.
That's all right. Well, hopefully things go. We know the internet is touchy. I'm kind of waiting in the future to see how things go. You kind of would think that eventually they might shift the internet into like an internet 2.0 or something. I mean, when's it going to come to the point where we get away from these ground lines and we come into satellite, simply satellite production or projection of the internet? I mean, it was proposed by was it Bill Gates? No, it wasn't Bill Gates. It was the Apple guy. What's the Apple guy's the gay dude run around on the turtleneck? I can't remember his name. Steve Jobs, that guy.
No, you mean the one that died, or Steve?
I was just gonna say, which one are you talking about? The one that died or the current one?
Oh, they're all the same, I guess. But that's cool. My guy was a genius, visionary, very ergonomic, and anyway, Steve Jobs is very important, obviously. But wasn't it him that was talking about, or it might have been Bill Gates? One of those guys was talking about building his Phalanx system, which was going to be a series of satellites around the world that would produce a new and high-speed internet. I think it was Steve Jobs.
But, my memory does not tell me. Does not tell me this information, but I'm
that
sure. I'm sure that sounds like something he would do.
Yeah, it was more than a decade ago too. It might have been 15 years ago. They were talking about that, and of course, it didn't go anywhere. But the fact that they were talking about it nearly 2 decades ago shows that the idea of the tech was there. So it's not something that they couldn't do. And of course, that would be a much higher internet access, and you could be anywhere in the world and get internet. I really wish they'd move to that system instead of locking us down to this ground-based cable system. And just think about the billions of dollars that Google is spending. I mean, we complain about Google because they're a bunch of fascist tyrants, but in reality, they are spending ridiculous amounts of money trying to make the internet something.
Yeah, and by the way, that is the storyline from the first Kingsman movie. He created his own. Samuel L. Jackson's character creates his own satellite network internet to replace everything and gives it away for free.
Oh yeah, but he just wanted to kill off the entire population with it, though. That's a little bit different.
You don't know that Steve Jobs didn't want to do that?
Yeah. What does John say? John Diller says, "I got rid of my gallbladder because it kept giving me stones. You should get rid of your kidneys." What are you talking about, dude? What the hell? Oh goodness. Yeah, I've actually never had stones. Knock wood for damn sure. Do you guys do that? I'm not a superstitious person, but anytime I say something that could, bring bad luck or bad karma upon me, I always knock wood. It's like a natural thing. Do you guys do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
tried-
I mean, I understand the whole idea of not wanting to say stuff like that, though. I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't say that because you don't want karma to come back on you.
Hey, you don't want the universe listening.
Mhm.
Gold blooders are the worst. Am I right? John.
Oh my God!
Goodness
We're a bunch of
gracious.
old people and our parts are falling off.
Yeah, but actually, where the knock on wood comes from is pretty interesting. Amongst the Celtic peoples, particularly the Irish, but across the entire world, our temples used to be. Of course, they had the henges that they would use, but those were more astronomical. But we would have the grove of trees. This is where Martin got the idea for his Game of Thrones. It's not a unique idea; it's a very Celtic thing to do. They would have a sacred grove, and in the sacred grove there would mainly be like a sacred oak or a yew or something like that, and that would be the main thing. And people would in the nearby village would go to the temple, and they, particularly women, and they'd literally knock on the tree and they'd whisper their request to the god, to them. It was usually for women asking for pregnancy or safe pregnancy or things like that. But that's where knock on wood comes from. They would literally knock on the tree and whisper to the god for some prayer. So there you go.
It's got to suck for the gods. Like everyone's knocking on your window. It's like, what do you want?
Right? Exactly. But it is interesting that Martin did use that in his story. He used it a little bit differently, but or maybe not. Maybe that's more realistic of what it looked like. But I thought that was a cool little touch. But then again, none of these things are actually original, right? They're all coming from
Yeah,
somewhere. So
it all gets taken from something.
sure. And did we lose Denali already? We did.
Oh,
Yeah, we
we
did.
did.
Let's just give him a moment. I've been kind of waiting to see if he's doing, instead of jumping into the recap. But I will do a quick recap right now. You guys know we've been running the Boston by Night, which the Boston by Night thing is just simply, it's very generic. It's weird when I've been doing these online RPG stuff. I did one with John. I've done one with Dinale before with the superhero one, and now I'm doing this one, the vampire. I kept them really generic instead of going really, wild homebrew, some of the crazy stuff I've done in the past. I don't know why I do that, but I have been very, very generic about it. And the Boston by Night, of course, if you've ever played Vampire, you understand it's everything by night. New York by night, Montreal by night, Chicago by night, etc., etc. So that's just kind of the simple, campaign world we're in. And then we'll have our story heads, and in this case, we're doing Gehenna Rising, which you guys know if you've been listening along, that our crew here has been basically recruited to help with the rise of Gehenna. And Gehenna basically is a returning of the antediluvians, the third generation of vampires. And what they do is they come out every new constellation turn, every 2200 years or so, and they will cleanse the world of all vampires and cull the humanity as well, taking blood for themselves into their deep umbra homes, and then reinstating a head for each vampire house. And this is the current one that's going on, and everyone's trying to survive it and stop it, etc. These guys aren't powerful enough to be part of the main fight, so what they've been done is recruited to go and unlock the tomb of Cain, or the prison of Cain, and bring him back, hoping that the progenitor, the creator of vampires, will be able to stop what is happening. And it's I've never done a Gehenna run before, so I really wanted to, and I have my idea. I think is fun, and we'll see how it comes out in the end, because we're taking a very interesting angle. How are you guys enjoying the layout and the setup of how we're approaching Gehenna?
I've enjoyed it.
I'm digging it, man. I mean, like I said, I've never played a Gehenna game before. I've played Vampire before, but never a Gehenna game. And that first session, like I said, when we first, it was like, oh, I'm not thinking big enough here, because it's like it's the end of the freaking world. It's
Sure. it's Gehenna, it's apocalypse, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's like taking it's like taking the regular game and kind of dialing it up to 11.
Sure. Well, because we could have went at it. I could have went at it where I just had you guys made, like fourth, fifth generation vampires, and we could have had you guys going straight at them. But I thought
Yeah.
this might be more fun to kind of skirt it.
I like the idea of just being like another like number, like another one of the people in the crowd, and then you got to kind of figure your way through it, because that's the whole emphasis of this particular system is role playing.
Hmm.
And it's ultimately you're supposed to get into the mind of your character as much as you possibly can, and it's about your reactions to the things going on around you. So if you're so powerful that you can just mow your way over most things, then you're not really going to be mulling over a lot of character stuff. So I
Sure.
like it.
Yeah. No, I think it's fun too. Unfortunately, if we can't get Dinale in here, we're not going to be able to do it. But I could maybe just transfer us onto just some kind of comics news today conversation type of thing. I do see the the chat is now talking about their ailments. Uh,
Like, dude, you're the one who started talking about golf stuff. No,
no,
actually, no.
John
Who was
Dillard
that?
did. That was
John did
Dillard.
it.
Yeah,
It's Dillard's fault.
yeah. Candy Cane says that I don't know if that's a girl or boy. I'm going to assume it's a girl. Candy Cane says, "I want to knock on wood." Okay, I'm not going to take that where I should take it. I'm going to let it be. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let Mox touch it. You touch it, Knox.
Giggity.
Why are you putting me in this, Chester? No.
Mox Evans goes, dude, I just came here to shoot stuff and kill things, man. What are you trying to get me into this crap?
Talk about ambush journalism.
Wow. Uh, John Dillard says, "Sacred trees. What a bunch of yokels." Well, your people, before you went down to South America and mixed yourself up with everybody, your Spanish ancestors anyway, they're Celtic too, John. Just so you know. We have actually the same exact history. When you go back to that point, anyway. Lady Celtic Moon says chest pains earlier. Uh-oh, that's not good. You're kind of young for chest pains there, dear. Uh, let's see, John Dillon. The sacred tree answered my prayers to get rid of Denali. Praise the sacred tree. Ah, poor Denali. He's always picking on him.
Poor guy doesn't get no respect, man.
And now he's saying, "What did you overdo?" Bench Press is talking to Lady Celtic Moon, who I've never seen her, but I've spoken to her several times, and she is. I think this is the person I'm thinking of. I might not be. I may be wrong, but if it's the person I'm thinking of, she sounds like a very petite, very young university student. So yeah, I don't think she's bench pressing anything, John. I'm probably wrong though. It's probably a different person. Oh, I have a heart condition for over 15 years. Plus, it was over 101 today. Okay, so this is not the person I thought she was. But
Wow.
yeah, that is hot, and I hope you're doing well. Got to watch out for that kind of. She got a murmur or something, I guess. And she's helped me out with a couple things. I know she sent me a text not too long ago, giving me some information. I guess after I finished the fan edition, something wonky was going on with my YouTube, and it showed me as being online, which I wasn't online. I wasn't recording.
Yeah, I saw that. At first, I was like, "What the heck is this crap?" And then because of that, my like the reminders and stuff for your other stuff weren't going off.
Yeah, I think so. It's fixed now. I don't know why. I have no idea what it was. But it's okay now. But that was weird. That was weird. But thanks a lot for sending me that text though and helping me out with that. Um, John is talking about being Caligula and splaying himself across the couch eating strawberries. John, I don't need this image. I don't need it.
Speaking of Caligula and splaying yourself out eating strawberries and stuff like that. There was a thread that was started in that this was starting to be tweeted out where some of the people in our community are trying to encourage everybody to go out and get some exercise. So I joined in on that today, and I got a video I'm going to throw up there because I'm not allowed to live stream it and everything. But Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
Exercise. Well, I exercise every day. I don't do much though. I just get up
Yeah,
because I get up pretty early, and I just go out and I have myself like a 30-minute run. I run up the top of the mountain and I run down.
dude, 30 minutes, dude. 30 minutes of running is good, man.
Yep.
I can't do 30 minutes of running. I'm too big of a guy to do 30 minutes of running.
Yeah. Well,
But
actually,
I
I
do.
s- I sprint up the mountain, and then I jog down. But it's just 30 minutes. That's it every day, and then I come back, make my coffee, and sit down and start doing my translations, and then I grab a shower and get my breakfast and come home with you guys. It's pretty easy. It's only 30 minutes. It's not a big deal.
It's
That's
very important as a man hits 30 years old to start doing things like that to take care of his body.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because as we get older, it pays off to, be in better shape to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and it's I got it from football. I played football since I was what, 6? Pop Warner, right?
mm,
I think 6 or 7 or something like that. And I just played football the whole time. Did a bunch of little sports stuff too, but mainly I played football and just what you do, you know. And I've always kept it up. And no matter where I am, you can always go for a 30-minute run. Doesn't matter where you
yeah,
are, right?
yeah.
It's
Yeah. Like I said, I made a lifestyle change about 4 or 5 years ago. So
mm,
trying to repair the damage that was been done. But
I,
yeah, it's just I know that there's a lot of people that like myself that have a very sedentary lifestyle, and it's just
mhm,
as you get older, like Mox, like you said, you gotta do something
yeah.
to stay up there. But 30 minutes, the 30-minute run is pretty good, man. I mean, like I said, I don't have the lung capacity to do 30 minutes, but
Uh,
I do about an hour of cardio every day. But it's different stuff. It's
yeah,
stuff that I don't have to like pound my feet.
I used to be much more serious. I mean, I do my runs, I do my stretches, I used to go in the gym 3 days a week. I mean, you used to be much more serious about it, but nowadays I just do that. But the funny thing about just doing just 30 minutes, right? It's only 30 minutes. I'm not like talking and
Mhm.
getting into some 2-hour regimen every day. It's just 30
Yeah.
minutes. And but the thing about it is, it actually gives you more energy. It
Yeah.
mm,
sounds weird, right? It sounds, oh, you're exhausting yourself, but no, actually, it actually produces more energy. And as you get older, energy is a problem.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so it's actually helps quite a bit. I mean, you can also do things like take ginseng and things like that, and they do legitimately work. But I don't know, it's just easy for me to do, you know.
Yeah. It's yeah, definitely, man. I know. Like I actually got my father. He's 72 years old, and I got him to start going to the gym, and it's helping him out. But like you said, like if you've got to do something where you just get out and move, even if you just go for a walk for a half an hour.
Oh yeah, even
You
that.
got to get something out there and just get moving again, because like you said, I absolutely feel better when I do this stuff.
Absolutely. My
And
wife used to be part of the volleyball group club, but she doesn't do it anymore. But she does yoga every day.
I've got an online version of that. I've tried it a couple times. That stuff's pretty good, man. I mean, if you can get, I suck at it, but
if you
um,
work at that in Tai Chi, it's very vital, especially like as you get older and have bad joints and injuries to like your back and legs.
Hmm.
Like it's very helpful, for
yeah,
that. People can't do the impact.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I did notice is that as I was trying it out, because I try to do it. I was trying to do it at least twice a week, but I haven't done it in a while. But it, like you said, that the change that it has in your flexibility is amazing,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's a pretty good workout if you do it right.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
I used to a long time ago. I was a really good fencer in high school,
Hmm.
and that was fun. But then I found the SCA, the Society for Creative Anachronisms,
oh my god, dude!
and yeah, and I
I
got
know
into
exactly what Sky. Yes, I know exactly what
yeah.
Sky is.
And I basically became a tournament fighter and a war fighter in that group. And I did it for a long time, and I was really good at it. It's actually, I mean, because I was fine as a football. I was, I was a middle linebacker, and if it was a running play, I was very good. I was useful. That's where I got my nickname Bugbear. was
Mhm.
being a middle linebacker because they say I was like a bugbear in the middle. So I was really good at on a run play, but I'm not. I don't have the leg speed to cover the outside or the crossovers. I wasn't very good, so I was mainly like a third down player most of the time. But so I was fine. I was a mediocre football player. That's fine, right? I had fun with it. But fencing, I was really good at that for some reason.
Well,
And when I went to the SCA, I was really good at that too. And I loved it, dude. Like I went to Penzix a couple times and stuff like that. And you're talking about 10,000 people on the field in
Yeah.
full armor, 5,000 to a side. And my main job was I was what they call a coyote. And basically, they would run. They have these generals, having strategy. This is what basically you have on this metal armor, and you have wooden sticks, and you beat the hell out of each other. It's like
Yeah.
medieval sword
oh, it's
fighting.
a LARP.
It's well,
Dude,
no, it's a lot more serious than that, dude.
the
Yeah,
way I,
but
the
it's
way that I
essentially
always
a LARP. Yeah.
yeah,
the way
Ba-
I always described ska was it's people dressed in armor. It was role playing in real armor, beating the crap out of each other with freaking sticks.
it's a lot
Have
like football, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
It's
guys seen that new sport that they have where they wear the armor like old school and it has the sensors and they've like I mean not obviously with real swords but like weaponry that's replica of that and like they actually fight out for points in arenas?
yeah, it's
No, sure. Yeah.
they actually brought back jousting. It's
Yes, they've done that
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
I've done jousting in the SAA
Really?
actually. Oh yeah. It's a
ugh.
lot of fun. It's a there's many parts of the SEA. It is in a way role playing. It's people who like history. They dress up. They have big old feasts. They make cordials. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a subculture and it's a big one. And
Mhm.
I enjoyed all of it, but I enjoyed the fighting most because I really love the physicality of football and I combine what I was able to do is combine the talent I had for sword fighting with my love for football. Right. And
Mhm.
I remember one day, I think one of my best days, there was a tourney. And I did pretty good. I was in the top 10. I didn't win it. But we also had what we call, it's kind of like, we call it castles. But basically, what they do is they have two teams, and this was at Fool's War, and that's over 1,000 people, right? I mean, people in armor fighting, warriors. And what they do is they have these three castles they build out of hay bales. They're really big, actually. And you have an hour, and during that time, you at the end of the hour, who controls the most forts? The little castles? It's like a capture the flag type of thing. And if you get killed, you have to go and stay out for a certain amount of time. There's these marshals that are along the edge that make sure people don't cheat. But I went in and we did that, and I was sitting at one of these little hay bale castles, right? And the king of Meridies, because you have to have a combat to become king, and they stay king for a year, and then they have a tournament again. It sounds really ridiculous and nerdy, and it is, but it's a lot of fun. But these people can fight, right? And he had the king, and he had like four or five of his lancers sitting right next to him, and they were trying to protect the entrance to the hay bale castle. And like an idiot, as usual, I just kind of jumped over the crew that were working and I dove into them. And I actually was able to drop a couple of those lancers real quick. And then I got dropped. And they said it sounded like machine gun fire going off, how many times I got hit off my metal armor. But it was cool. Every flow was a cool little memory. But then after that, we had like an attrition battle, which is basically everybody versus everybody. But there's always little groups that stick together, right? But by the end of that, everyone who was in on the field that was in my team, my group, was dead, and the only thing left was the king and his Lancer Corps, which is I don't know, must have been 50 people left, right? So I'm the only one left. So they asked me, okay, well, what do you want to do? You can just do. They'll offer you because being chivalrous is an important part of the culture, right? But
Mhm.
they said you can do one-on-one fight, or you can just lay on. And I was like, screw it, lay on. So I dropped my shield. I picked up another sword off the field that had been dropped by somebody. So I went in Florentine, which is two swords, and I just charged in. I figured I'd be dead instantly. But I hung in for a while. I don't know how long it was. Felt forever, but it was probably just a minute or two. Like I said, it was about 50 of them. But by the end of it, I was dead. Of course, I was out, struck. But I actually took 15 of them out before they got me. And
Wow.
I never had a day such a great day like that. It was just one of those days, right? Like I said, I was a pretty good fighter, but I wasn't like I was this epic thing. It was just that day. But the cool thing about it was after actually, because I kind of had been the biggest attention of the day. I had the coolest moments of the day, right? The king gave me like a special gift, and it was all that kind of stuff. And so I was the man of the hour, right? So I was part of a group of it was kind of role playing as Mongol warriors and a Golden Horde type of thing, and we had a big old camp with our tents and our fires, and we had a lot of people there. But the problem was it was basically a big old sausage fest. There wasn't many women, so I was like, I shall go find the women and bring them back. So I went, so I went looking around, and I found one of these little they're like a minstrel group. It was a pretty big group actually, and they had belly dancers and the drummers, and just this kind of people who enjoy that part of the community. But it's a lot of belly dancing girls, right? And pretty girls. So I went over and I talked to them. I just walked right into the camp and I says, "I, the hero, what was my name? Vachir Nuran was my character name. I have won the day. I claim all these women. You shall come with me to my party." And they did. So, so they came back. I brought all these girls back, and everyone was very happy with me for that day. And actually, I hooked up with this one chick, right? And before we come to the event, because at that time I actually took a year off of my life, and I was driving around every week going to a new event across America. So I spent an entire year in the SCA, seriously, right? And we had stopped at a truck stop. And at that truck stop, I noticed on the wall they had condoms, and I was low on condoms, so I needed to get a condoms. But one of the condoms was glow in the dark condom, and I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." So I picked a few of those up, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them. And that night when I hooked up with that chick, I used one of the glow in dark condoms. I kind of took her down to this little lake that was nearby our camp because we're in a big, huge camping ground, and the whole camping ground is just full of SEA people. It must have been 5,000 people up in there, right? And but I took the girl over to the lake, and we're having a little bit of fun. And I come back, and everyone just starts clapping, and I was like, "What the hell?" And basically, from that point forward in the SAA, I was called the lightsaber of love. So, but that was a great day. And you guys may say, "What are you doing? Are you killing time?" Yes, we're killing time because we can't have Dinale today. We can't run the game without Dinale, guys. Obviously, especially going into a big thing. It's unfortunate, but hopefully he'll be able to pick it up next week. He's got a typhoon, but so yeah, we're just kind of shooting the shit as it is.
Yeah,
I was low
but
on condoms, Chester 2019. Well, I was. Come on,
um, yeah, I had a friend who did SCA, and there was a fighter that because they did the individual battles as well,
Mhm.
and there was a guy that was basically a Black Knight, and all this dude did, he had like basically a two-handed sword, like a giant sword.
Yeah.
And this guy was so big and so strong. He just swung this thing around in a circle over, like just over his head. He was just kept doing that over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But eventually, some of the guys got together. It's like, okay, like because like you said, those battles that they do, they use real strategy, man. I mean, because like you're really beating the living crap out of each other.
Dude, I broke
So
more bones in the SEA than I did playing football.
I mean, it's
A decade of
so
football, I
basically,
broke more in it. Yeah.
yeah, they got together. And it's like, okay, we're going to teach this guy a lesson, and they proceeded to basically beat the living crap out of this dude because they were real sword fighters.
Sure.
Like they were legit sword fighters. Like they really knew how to fight. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it's like I didn't have the guts to do that.
I tell you, if the zombie apocalypse ever comes, and of course I use that to mean that something bad happens, you go find the SCA and you hang out with them because those people will be
Yeah.
just fine.
Well,
Just fine.
he showed me some pictures and stuff from what's the name of that big gathering that they do every year?
Well, we have several, but you're probably talking about Penzix. Penzix is
Penzix,
you're
yeah.
talking 20, 30,000 people. They're required to have a post office, and they because it's such a large gathering, they have to have a lot of things required by the law. But yeah, Penzix, I'm sure.
But he showed me pictures and stuff from there where like they were like and like you said, there are some people that they really get into the part they're playing.
Oh yeah.
And he showed a picture of this this absolutely gorgeous woman. She was an absolute dime. She walks out of she was in one of those like those skin huts that they have. Like she was one of those Viking clan type things.
Sure.
She walks out stone naked, grabs a bucket of water, just dumps it over top of herself.
Sure.
And that's how that was their version of bathing for that weekend. And I'm like, oh my God, man.
Oh yeah, no. It's there's no tech. It's all it's basically a medieval recreation society is what it is, and there's just many aspects of it. I like I said, I enjoyed the warrior part of it, the fighting part of it most, but there's a lot of cool things in it. But yeah, no, you're camping in tents, and the cool thing is these groups and people, the tents they have are like the old-fashioned ones. It's really cool actually. If you've never been to an SEA event, I suggest you go. It's a lot of fun. It's a good fun weekend. But yeah, nudity is just something that has to be dealt with. You got to understand this was created by a bunch of hippies originally. It's become something more now. But yeah, no, it does have a bit of that free love aspect to it. But you just kind of have to do what you got to do, and no one really cares. I have to say one of the coolest things about the SCA as well, you can take and like say you could take your wallet and you could lay it on a table, and you could leave it there all weekend and it'll never get touched. That's the
Yeah.
kind of society it is. And you're talking millions of worldwide. This is not a little local thing in California. This is all across the world. They split the world into kingdoms, Europe, North America, even in Asia. And it's a big deal. There are millions and millions and millions of people. I don't know what it is now, but I remember when I was doing it, I think there were 4.5 million registered fighters because you have to get a
Yeah.
license. This is not a joke, right? You have to take a test and get a license because it is dangerous. It's basically putting heavy metal armor you're required to wear actually, and you're playing foot. You're kind of have a football level of contact with sticks. Wooden heavy sticks. That's what it is. So it's not a joke, right? I actually went into one time where I was just too many people around me, and I couldn't get my sword in a good angle, so I just started headbutting the dude in front of me to get him out of my way.
Jesus.
Uh, and I did this twice actually. I was in a bear pit once too. The bear pit is completely illegal. But basically, what we do is we dig a hole in the ground. We put wooden posts all around it, creating a pit, and there's usually a parapet above where people can stand and watch. And you go in with two people, three, four, whatever they're going to do, and you fight until the person gives up or is unconscious. This is completely unsanctioned and illegal, and I may or may not have done this. But one time when I was doing it, I had this guy, and he was a really good fighter, and I just couldn't. I could block him, but I couldn't score on him, right? So I just got really frustrated, and I just kind of rammed into him and pushed him into the corner of the wall and just started smashing my head into him. But I'd done this twice, and each time I did it, this is metal helmet to metal helmet. I had concussed him so badly that he was out, but my head was bleeding down into my eyes, dude. I
Ugh.
mean, I could barely see, and that's through metal helmet, right? And there's padding
Oh,
in
man.
those helmets too. But yeah, no, it's serious business. It's not a joke at all.
No, like I said, that the friend of mine that was a part of it, we our little group of friends, we decided to kind of do our own little thing, try it out. So we made our swords and stuff. Well, I thought we made them right. Um, he walks up to me like he just literally like it's like, okay, you go to that side, you go to that side, and we're in the woods, and then we'll all come together. Well, he ran into me first. I've got my sword in quotations. He swings this thing, he snaps it in half and hits me right across the face.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
like, and literally like I said, I played football too and everything, man. And he rang my bell,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah. Oh no, I loved it. I loved it. And don't get me wrong, I had plenty of days where I got my butt handed to me all the time, especially in the beginning. But I've had a few good moments in it as well. But I just love it. It depends on you have to have that certain mentality though. You have to have the mentality of a football player where you enjoy or a boxer, you enjoy that kind of physical content, and you're not afraid to throw your body in. If you're that kind of person, you'll have a ball with it. If you're not, you shouldn't do it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's very
it's
simple.
I mean, I'm sure if I stuck with it, I probably could have probably would have liked it, but yeah, taking that shot across the head, that kind of killed it for me. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, dude, I mean, I've broken my right side. I've broken 3 ribs. I've broken a collarbone. I shattered my right hand. I was in a situation where I had these pole armors coming at me, and I kind of went across and I got inside the length of their strike zone, inside the pole, and I came across with a right hand strike and then a left hand strike, and I was able to drop the guy on the right and the left, but the two dudes coming straight at me, I couldn't get back quick enough with the sword with my hand, my position. Well, I panicked and I'd literally just punched the guy in the head, which is useless, right? Because he's got a helmet on, it doesn't count. And then of course they scored hits on me and I was out, so I had to go sit on the side and wait my period of time before I could come back in. But as I'm sitting there, all of a sudden I started feeling nauseous. Really sick like, and I bent over and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I looked down, my hand was like twice the size. They took me to the hospital. I had literally broken my hand in several places, and they actually went in and put like a titanium pin in my a couple pins in there to keep my hand working or together. But yeah, so I literally broke my hand on a metal helmet once because I was an idiot,
Oof.
you know. But
As you do when you're a meathead.
when you're a meathead, yeah, because I can meathead as well as anybody. Trust me, I can
Yeah.
definitely meathead.
But yeah, that's cool, man. It's like I remember, like I said, I remember my friend doing SCA, and
Yeah,
I'm like, yep, it's basically like reenactments of famous battles, and you just beat the crap at each other with giant wooden sticks.
that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm just rather disappointed. In all these years, I have never heard of this society before
Mhm.
because I would have loved to have done this a few years ago when I was a little younger.
Well, with you saying that actually, because I'm 49 now, when I was in my 30s, I was still doing it, and I'd go to tournaments and stuff because I was living in Hawaii at the time. And they still have the SCA there, but it's not they don't have the big huge events, and I didn't have the time or money to travel back to the mainland, right? But I went to the events and I had a fun into my deep into my 30s. But The problem is that I got to the point where after a tourney or a fight, I would the next day or two I'd be fine, right? But I got to the point going to tourneys, it would be like a week or more before I was healed, you know.
Yeah.
And I just like, all right, that's enough of that. So I just stopped it. Yeah, because it just took too long to recuperate. Oh well. But I don't know if we're boring people to death. We can't do the show today, guys, because Dinale won't be here. So I don't know. Let me go see if I can't dig up some kind of news or something we could talk about a little bit, and then we'll make it call it a day. You guys don't mind doing that?
I'll work with whatever you want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right. Just to do something. Let me see here if there's anything on the FanSpeak page, because usually there is. Let's see here. Well, you know what? Why don't I just bring up the page and we'll go through it, look at it ourselves, and see what there is maybe to talk about. Let me see here. Do like this.
Do you have our screens locked out?
No,
So
I'm going to take care of that right now. Yeah,
okay.
have faith.
Ooh, Jawbreaker's God King.
All right. So basically, just go ahead and you guys white box on me, and you'll be fine. Be able to see what I'm showing here. Here we go. No, that's not the one. It's the other one. Okay, it's this one. Here we go. All right. So let me see here. So let's see what we got. Pixel's putting up his thing warning people about the virus things that is just for you type of thing. Which I actually got a couple of those. Had to get rid of them. So that's a nice little PSA right there, guys. If you're getting any of those tweets coming at you and it says just for you or only for you, whatever it says, watch out for that. So that was a nice little warning from Pixel. Thank you, Pixel. We have some commissions coming on here. Indie Spotlight on Jawbreakers. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Comics Villain. Samuli. What has he done here? The Anaheim Police Department confirmed viral
Yeah,
brawl at Disneyland under investigation. Huh? Let's take a look.
yeah. I talked about that on my stream, man. It's a little comical.
Let's see here. Disneyland, the Anaheim-based theme park, is going viral for all the wrong reasons recently, of course. Over the 4th of July weekend, a brawl that seemed to involve a set of two families erupted in Disneyland's Toontown. The incident was caught on video and published on YouTube shortly afterward. Now the altercation is being investigated by police. In this video, you can see a number of people throwing punches at each other while their children are nearby. And oh, look, it's a certain demographic.
Yeah.
There you go.
sorry,
There you go. Yo, boy. Yo. I'm gonna fight you. I just punched you and nothing happened. But we're gonna fight. Oh, watch out, old lady. What are you doing? Oh, what is this? What is this, man? That's not how you fight. What is this pawing crap? You gotta do it. You get serious, man. You get up in there. Oh yeah, you strike that girl. You get that, punch that girl. See, when I was young, you didn't hit no women's.
Yeah, the best is when the dude in the pink shirt, he gets taken out.
Well, he should get taken out. He's a moron.
Yeah, some dude comes up and chokes him out. And they said after he wakes up, he starts looking around like, who choked me out? Who put it? Like, what do you want to get choked out again?
Yeah, they're neither one of these guys are proper fighters, though.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm hearing the Rocky theme song in my head.
Are you? Yeah. But it's like, it's Disneyland, man. Chill out, dude. Relax.
Man, what Disneyland got to do with it?
Oh my God,
Come on, you know, I mean, let's have a happy. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh my goodness, she's out. She's out.
She got good knee strikes.
Here comes Boosie Kiwi. He's gonna have some good stuff to talk about this.
What are you doing, man?
Give me that weed.
Can't you make the standing 10 count?
Damn.
That chick is a
Security guy
man.
comes up and deals with it. Finally, we get some security in here. Is he security or just some random dude?
He's just some random dude.
Where doesn't Disneyland have security? I want to see Goofy come up and kick some ass, man. That's what I want.
Dude, it'd be awkward if he
They need to get the other girl that's knocked out and get her to stand up with the other one that got knocked out so they can all hold each other up.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord, somebody take me to the buffet.
Take them to Jenny Craig. It's not a small world after all.
I guess not, man. It's definitely a extra double size with cream. But it's like, dude, you know, when I was young, and of course going into my adulthood, we don't hit the ladies. But I guess in this modern time, you can just go ahead and lay into them, I guess.
You know?
This is so common now that, I mean, I guess that's why we're kind of desensitized to see it.
Well, that's not cool, dude.
I mean, we're more shocked it happened at Disneyland than it happening.
This is like...
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, this dude has no technique whatsoever. You can lay him out in like 2 seconds. I don't get it.
Yeah, at some point, like literally, someone comes up and like this dude right here. I think he chokes him out.
Yeah.
That guy right there, he literally chokes this dude out.
I'm curious what they're fighting over. A Twinkie? Whatever. Stupid people doing stupid human tricks, right?
Yeah. Right there. See, the guy's got him down now. He's choking him out.
Yeah, well, you know, that's okay. Yay, entertainment. Let's come down here. Samuli Olki, a really cool guy from over in the Scandinavian lands. He's very active on Fanspeak. He puts up a lot of really cool stuff, guys. DC Comics announces John Constantine to join Sandman Universe. You talked about this earlier, you said, Bob.
Yeah. Basically, they're actually... I'm guardedly optimistic about this because they went and they got Neil Gaiman to kind of tell them how to do this and everything. So basically, they're taking all the Sandman characters and all the satellite characters from Sandman, and they're putting them all together in their own universe. Which basically, like if you remember Vertigo back when it first came out, that's basically what Vertigo was. It was all those characters were kind of connected with each other. And so I'm guardedly optimistic about it. I mean, it remains to be seen if the work that's going to be done on it is going to be any good. But I'm hoping that this means they're going to kind of pull him out of the regular DC universe because he really does not belong there.
No, it is weird. It is a little bit. I get the connection, but and we've been talking about this Sandman thing with Neil Gaiman from Netflix as well. We're very concerned, by the way.
Hmm.
uh,
Oh God,
a-
dude, I'm so scared about that.
Yeah, what in the hell is Netflix going to do to it? Because we know that more and more Netflix has become extremely woke. It used to be on Netflix that you could find anything and it had something for everybody, which is cool. I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
But it's becoming less and less of that. It's becoming more and more progressive with everything. Whatever. But yeah, okay. Let's see
Yeah,
here. Oh, Dinale put something up here. Oh, yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Oh, so there's not a lot of new news on here today. Uh, hmm. Well, let
no,
me
there's
just go
not.
searching then.
The one cool thing it does sound like is they're going to use this to kind of reintroduce. Okay, yeah, that story right there, that's going to take a lot of people off.
Which one?
The Joker, where the go down. Um, hang on a minute, I'm in the wrong screen here.
Well, we talked about that extensively yesterday.
About yeah, he said it's not based off of anything from the comics.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's just look at these headlines they got up here. We talked about that a lot yesterday.
Hmm.
Entertainment critic Richard Russfield Blast Access Media. I don't even know who you are. Report Sony to get full control of Spider-Man if Far From Home does not make $1 billion. Well, it's not going to. And let Sony have full control because they'll just continue to screw it up. Because Sony is kind of lost in the weeds, I think. They let that California-based group is completely in charge of Sony now, and they're making a lot of stupid moves, and they're going to hurt the PlayStation. They're going to hurt they've already hurt the movies incredibly.
Um,
The animation is doing poorly. All of that Into the Spider-Verse did make a lot of money.
mhm. I don't know, man. Worldwide, it's already made almost 600 million.
Yeah, it's not going to hit $1 billion. It most certainly won't. You
It'd
know,
be interesting to see.
but I don't really care because that's not Spider-Man anyway. Well, it's Peter Parker. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
Peter Parker. This is diversity Spider-Man. This is Miles Morales, which I understand some people like him, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the character. But in general, I don't need diversity Spider-Man. I don't need it. I have Spider-Man. Why didn't they make him something different? Like Spider-Gwen, whether you like the comic or not, the concept that she got bit instead of Peter, it makes sense. It's a different Spider character. Silk or, et cetera, et cetera. They're all different versions of a spider themed thing. So why wasn't Miles something different? Why wasn't he like Night Spider or Shadow Spider? I mean, well, because he's Invisible Guy, so or something along those lines. Why wasn't he a different character? Oh no, he's Peter, and he got his powers in almost the same way. He's basically a replacement for Peter Parker, because as Tom Holland himself said, why we don't need no white cis heterosexual males around.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with Peter becoming gay. It's like, get the hell out of here, Mr. Holland, you absolute jerk, right? And
Yeah,
this mentality.
that's actually a very easy thing for them to say too, because I don't know if you got. I think we talked about this once before, but um, there's actually something that Stan Lee put into that there's a rule that they're with all the media that they do with Spider-Man, they're not allowed to change him in any significant way.
Yeah.
So saying that is an easy. That's an easy check mark for him because it's never going to happen. But you never know what they're going to do with something outside of that. So
Yeah, but it's just a stupid thing for him to say. It shows a complete
it
lack of
is.
understanding of the character. It's like, okay, you want to tick off the entire community, and not just our community, the entire world. I mean, Spider-Man's one of the few comic book characters pretty much everybody knows,
Yeah.
right? And that's what you
Yeah.
want to do because in this current time, white people need to get out. You are a white dude. Why is it all these white people that are making all the noise and hate against white people? What is that? No, I understand Black Lives Matter is an absolute full-on terrorist group. I get it, but mainly what we're seeing from these progressives is white people hating on white people, and it's like,
It's
what is wrong with you people?
it's virtue signaling, man.
What are
It's
they virtuing? I want to commit suicide. Well, get it over with then.
it's that whole thing where it's like I understand where you guys are coming from. I feel so bad about everything that's happened in the past. Look at how sorry I am about everything. Look how much I want everything, want the world that you want. And then you go and talk to an actual um over here, the Richard Butler. That's I think that's the YouTuber Young Ripa. He's like, I don't need your crap. It's just like, what do you think your virtue signaling is gonna do? You know, it's and that's the thing about virtue signaling is that most people, if you do it, like, and like at some point in our life, we've all done something similar to that, where we said something we didn't really believe, but immediately the first thing that happens to us is like, oh my God, why did I say that? That's disgusting. I don't want to do that. But there's people that have literally made their life built around it. And
sure.
this is just more of it. You know, Hollywood is famous for. I mean, you know, it's the whole thing right now going on with Disney, with the Little Mermaid stuff.
I find one of the thing about people who virtue single is a lot of what you're saying is true, but it is someone saying a thing and then putting themselves on a pedestal for saying it without
Right.
actually having to do the work or the action to earn the merit of the reward of what you claim to give so much care about.
Oh yeah, that's just like that same guy that was on that article, Young Ripa. He actually said that this whole thing with Disney race changing the Little Mermaid, like, they don't even realize that this is Disney basically trolling them. Is like, okay, here's this. We've already milked this thing for everything we could possibly get for it. Now you guys can have it here. You can have our sloppy seconds. Aren't we so progressive? Aren't we so awesome? And he's like, and then you idiots are just eating it up. You know,
Yep.
it's he's check his YouTube channel out if you get a chance to. He's got some interesting insight on some things.
Cool.
But
Over here in the chat, we have a lot of comments. So you guys are interested. Nick W says, "What demographic is that, Chester? Mice, ducks, goose?" Well, I could be PC and say idiots, but no, ghetto blacks. And if you go listen to Tommy Sotomayor, he'll tell you, where there are 3 black ladies, I shall not be, is what he said.
I had no idea you listened to him.
Huh?
I had no idea you listened to him.
Tommy? Yeah, Tommy is one of the few. He's a bit rough and vulgar, but Tommy is one of the few people that's trying to help his community, actually. Because obviously, if we look at communities, they come in all sizes. America is a community unto itself, but we also have sub communities in it as well. And every community has their problems, and most communities try to deal with them. Sometimes they deal with them quickly, sometimes it takes time. But the black, a certain type of black community in America, not all of them. I mean, most of the blacks I grew up with and know, they're just Americans, right? But there is a community in America that has a real big problem, and it's their problem. It's no one else's problem. And as long as they keep blaming everybody else and putting their hands out for free stuff, it's not going to fix. And you got people like Tommy and others that are trying to speak to his community and say, "Dude, we need to fix this." And they do, because they have a desperate problem. I mean, think about what we just saw there with that group of people. Name another group of people that you could confidently say you would see them fist fighting and punching on women in frickin' Disneyland. Name another group, right?
Yeah.
The Latinos ain't doing that. Any of the various white cultures aren't doing that. Africans, people from Africa, are certainly not doing that. The Jews aren't doing that. The Asians ain't doing that. It's one particular part of a racial group that does that kind of stuff. And people like Tommy Sotomayor, he's not there for me. He's there for his community, and he's very harsh about it, and he's not wrong. So yeah, if you never heard of Tommy, go check him out. He might be interested but understand, if you're not a black person from the ghetto, he's not talking to you. He's not there for you at all. But it might be a bit of an insight.
Is he still on YouTube? I know he has lost so many channels.
Well, he just makes new ones. They can't get ahead of Tommy.
Yeah, and his website.
Yeah.
You can't stop the signal.
Well, Well, they hate Tommy because he speaks
Oh yeah.
truth. And if you think that they won't ban a black person or a female, they will if they're not towing the line, right? Because they call Tommy all kind of horrible things. They're just it's ridiculous how they talk with Tommy. But if you spend any time looking at his content, he is talking directly to his community, his people, where he grew up. He's not some kid that was born to a doctor and is complaining about a group of his racial group that he knows nothing about. He come from that group. He is a ghetto
Mhm.
boy, and he's speaking directly to them. But then they don't like it because he's saying negative things about that community. And if you go listen to him, you'll learn a lot about it because most of us, you don't understand a community unless you're in it, right? I don't know
Yeah.
anything about Mexican or Puerto Rican community, or ghetto community, or Russian community. I don't know about these things. I'm not part of those. I have a peripheral outside understanding of them. But if you want to understand them better, you go to the people who are in that community talking about it, and Tommy's one of those. And don't get me wrong, every community has its trouble. I get that. But
Yeah.
I think the community that's suffering in America the most are two. There is the black ghetto community is suffering horribly, and the other community that's suffering badly is the SJW. Now you
Yeah.
say, Chester, how dare you give any sympathy to them? Yeah, I will, because they're broken, they're delusional, they're hypocritical to the point that they don't understand it, therefore delusional. These people need help. They're broken, they're toxic, and
Yeah.
their whole life is hate, man. It's not a good thing, dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's what they've been indoctrinated into believing. So it's the same as somebody who's been brainwashed by a cult.
Sure.
And but yeah, I mean, you talk about that. I mean, look at the I don't know if you follow um uh God, my brain doesn't want to work right now. Um Antonio Bryce. I don't know if you follow his Twitter and anything. The sort of discussions he has, or Kanan White, or
Not really.
Armando Huerta, or those guys. They get they try to these are guys who are in those communities, and they just get absolutely just attacked
Yeah.
for
Sure.
daring to think differently and to be like, hey, some of this crap that's going on, the reasons why you think it is it's not what it is. And like, this is how this is how we got to fix this stuff. And they're called everything. They're called Uncle Toms. Just
Yeah, sure.
it's ridiculous.
No, I mean, and this is something that I think, whatever white culture you may come from, if you're a white person, of course we have many different cultures, even though they just kind of call us all one thing. But no matter which white culture you come from, we don't have that level of troubles. We have some, and they usually work out. And like in my community, the Irish community and New England Irish community I come from, one of the big problems we have in that community is just obesity. I mean, and it's a problem, and we need to get it under control. But that's something we need to deal with, and there are people in that community that are trying to reach out and help everybody to try to get healthier. So I mean, each community is going to have their own little troubles, and they'll try to work it out. But I think it's hard for us to understand this community because it's so violent and toxic. I mean, for instance, if you're a ghetto black boy or girl, boy particularly, and you go to school and you're a good student, you're smart, and you do well, they will beat you down and call you an Uncle Tom for daring to try to learn the white man's stuff. And it's like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Knowledge is power, baby. But yet that's what they do. So you don't want to be a black boy in one of these communities and let anyone know that you're smart at all. You have to hide it. That's wrong. That is so destructive right there. But it's true. This is not an exaggeration. This is absolute true. I've seen many stories covering some black junior high school kid getting beat up, beat down for daring to make an A on a test. It sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous, but it's true.
Yeah, I
Let
mean, it's that whole
Yeah,
thing. It's the whole idea that they've been taught. It's an ideology that's been pushed that if somebody tries to step in, like quote unquote, you get out of your lane, they're trying to say that they're better than you.
yeah, that's what they
And
think it is, but it's stupid. Yeah.
yeah, it is stupid. And but yeah, I mean, but then again, you're talking about people who think that air conditioning is sexist. Okay. Like, did you see that tweet that somebody put out there where this woman literally said that air conditioning is
Oh yeah, that was a
sexist?
long while ago. I saw that. Yeah. Well, they
Oh
complain
my
about whatever they
God!
can. Let me catch up with the chat real quick though, if I can. They're basically talking about the little thing we showed with them fighting in Disneyland, but you never hit a woman. Bullet says later that night, the guy in red goes collects his money from his girls. Oh goodness. John John says it's obvious one of
Jeez.
those long time coming conflicts. Maybe no charges were pressed by any of the family. Probably not. But his Disneyland his Disneyland pass was taken away. Don't ask Bo. I know these facts. Okay, how I know these facts. I get it, John. Let me see. Let me just come down to the bottom. I've missed so much. See you later, Candy Cane. She's leaving. Bye, everybody. Bullet says, I hate the body positivity movement. It's such a terrible thing that makes people think that being 50 or 100 pounds over weight isn't a huge health risk. Well, it is. I just mentioned that about my community. We have a real health problem with obesity for
Mm,
sure. Fat people are a real problem. They're not, but it's a problem for themselves. When you have these people that are coming out and saying it's okay, you're healthy at any weight, it's not true. Now you can be whatever you want. That's your choice. But it's certainly better for you to lose a little bit of weight, right?
yeah.
And it's something that we can try to work together to help. And Dillard says Chester gets your fat woman under control. My woman's not fat at all, dude. Uh, no,
I think he might be talking about like that Tess Fowler crap.
oh yeah, no, I'm sure he is. They're just kind of trolling and making fun over here. It's cool. But yeah, Tess Fowler is a perfect example, right? She's ridiculously obese. It's not a little bit, but yet you can't say
Yeah.
anything about it. And honestly, I don't care. If some company wants to pay her money to do sexy shots on a fat girl, go right ahead. I have no problem with this whatsoever. I'm happy for her. You make your money, girl. But the problem is she comes out and yells and screams at anyone who dares to say that well, you really shouldn't be telling people that being fat is healthy because it's not. This is where the
Yeah.
problem comes in, not her making money. She can make all the money she wants.
Yeah.
Booster says,
Yeah.
why are
And
you
it's
oppressing me? Goodness gracious.
it's but yeah, it's that whole idea that you can't you like take what I say as absolute fact. Don't you dare question me, even if you have
Yeah.
if you have facts on your side. But overall, overweight people are a drain on the system, healthcare, insurance, etc. So yeah, they can be.
It's not untrue. But I think that in many countries, this obesity has become a problem. And there's a lot of people trying to work toward helping that and fixing that problem. And it's like, it's one of those personal things. It's like we were talking earlier. I go and I do a run 30 minutes a day. And even with that, I still got a punch.
Hmm.
I'm not completely fit, healthy like I used to be. I used to be super fit, but I still got this little bit of gut going on. But I mean, that's all right. You don't have to be perfect. You just
Yeah.
definitely don't want to get into that dangerous zone, right? Because in truth, actually, a little bit of fat is better than being too skinny for health
Hmm.
wise, anyway. But you don't have to be perfect. But if you're really, really large, you just do a little bit of activity every day. It's going to help you out. You're going to live longer. You're going to be happier, healthier, more energy. It's better for your life. Now, if you choose and you want to be fat and you don't want to hear it, I'm not going to complain to you. I'm not going to give you a hard time. I'm certainly
Yeah.
not. But
That's like it's that was it they talk about God, I can't remember his name now. Um John Gruden when he was actually a
mm,
commentator on ESPN
sure.
talking about the perfect quarterback. He's talking about uh, you want your quarterback to have a little bit of pudding. It's just a little bit of just a little bit of pudding. You want him to cut.
Well, because he needs to be able to take those hits, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just like there's a difference between you got a certain body type, endomorphs and all that stuff like that.
sure.
But you don't gotta be. Not everybody's gonna be a freaking model. But I mean, if you're walking around with 200 extra pounds in your body, don't walk around and tell everybody that you're healthy.
No, I think more importantly, don't tell other people that that they're just fine. It's perfect. I don't think that. I think that's the problem. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Booster says you call it an obesity epidemic. I say we beat starvation. Capitalism wins again, baby. All right, Booster.
Yeah.
Dillard,
Okay.
Chester, get your fat buddy under control. I'm all right. I'll be fine, dude.
I got around 31 and I started working a job where I took care of elderly. So I worked extreme hours, about 16 hours a day. And I started eating a lot of like takeout and, junk food like that instead of eating like real food, like a cooked meal,
Sure.
proper stuff. And I ended up getting diabetes and going up to 400 pounds from about a 220, 230 pound frame.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I had always been athletic. Like right before all this happened, I used to ride 40 miles a day on a bicycle. Like I did Tour for the Cure and stuff like that. And I got blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, like almost died. Like, I changed the diet and got back down, but, to around 230, 240 now.
Mm.
But, there's no way you can ever open your mouth and say at any point over, me 250, 270 that I was healthy, much less at 400.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Like I said,
that's a
I'm,
lot, dude.
yeah,
I had gained
I'm in,
a. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said,
No, no, go ahead.
I'm in the same boat, man. I was over 500 pounds at one point.
Jesus.
And,
Really?
oh yeah, dude, it was, and you know what? And it leads into a lot of things, man. I was severely overweight. I was super depressed. And you don't realize that, and like my health was absolute garbage. I ended up with diabetes as well, like taking half a dozen medications every day, and this is before I was even 40 years old.
Wow.
And it's one of those things. You don't realize that a lot of that stuff, like it goes hand in hand, man. And about 5 years ago, I had a buddy of mine died, and he's 30. He's 36 years old,
Wow.
overweight and everything. One minute he's there, the next minute he walks downstairs and to his father's kitchen, and he passes over dead. And so I started changing that, and I'm down to about 280 pounds now. So I've got about another 40, 50 pounds to go.
Good
But
Wow.
this
job.
idea,
Good for you, dude.
this idea that you can just, you can abuse your body like that, and you're going to be perfectly fine and healthy is just an absolute fallacy. And like you were talking about the working in the home for the elderly, man, you see like a lot of I actually I had to have surgery on my foot. And I ended up in one of those recovery homes, and you see the condition that some of these people are in, man, and they realize that using Tess Fowler as an example,
Hmm.
she's gonna be in just absolute friggin' agony towards the last half of her life.
Oh, sure.
Like the damage that she's doing, like I don't want to be like that was one of the things that really scared me, man. Is I don't want to be, an invalid at 50 or 60.
No, no, yeah, yeah. Well,
It's and it's a scary thing.
yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I never got to that size. The biggest I was 290, and my doctor was pissed. And I lost 60 pounds over. That was a long time ago, though. But
Yeah.
I never got up to that big. But I did kind of swell up a little bit. But it's funny now that I sit at about 230 right now. But when I was in my peak condition, I was actually 240.
Yeah.
And I had
Well,
I
I
had
mean,
had a beautiful body. Not
hey man,
anymore.
muscle weighs more than fat, man. I've seen some
Does.
people that are 230 and they look like a friggin' dumpling, and I've seen people that same body type 250 and they look jacked. So,
Mm.
but it's I that whole body positivity thing is just it's a mental illness almost, man.
It can be. And there's many things like that. Nick W here says climate change causes obesity. Maybe, possibly. But no, I think it's just that, especially of course there's a lot of communities that are having this issue, but particularly with the various Celtic peoples, we because where we grew up historically, we actually through generations of you know it's not evolution, it's just adaptation, right? We kind of get to the point where we really maintain and use calories in the body better than the any other racial group, actually. And that's a great thing when you're living in the snow and you're trying to survive. But in these days it comes back on you real hard because in truth we just eat way too much. And why not, right? Everything's available. And of course, we can get into the science of the fact that corn is being supplemented by the government and everything's been turned into corn syrup. And corn syrup, of course, is causing a lot of these troubles. And especially when you look at a lot of the racial groups that are eating corn now, we didn't traditionally have corn or corn syrup or sugar. These aren't part of your racial diet from the area you come from. So these are foreign elements coming in your body, and our body doesn't really deal with them the proper way. There's a whole science behind it, but in the end, it just comes down to we're too well off. Our society is too successful, and that's why it is what it is. The Celts are a bunch of fatties. Change my mind. I don't have to change your mind. We are, and like I said, it's because we have the ability to use a higher efficiency of our calories than other groups because of the environment we lived in, and that just means you have to eat less, and we don't. It's really very
Yeah.
simple.
I
Yeah, we
think
used to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think too one of the major issues for all of the groups, I know there are genetics that play into all of that as well.
Sure.
But the huge thing that you really have to look at, as well as you were saying, that you're finding all of this corn and corn syrup
Yeah.
and high fructose corn syrup and everything. Almost all of the food or the things that are presented as food to people now are complete trash anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
The health benefits of them aren't there, and you're seeing people that are 30 and 40 that are nutritionally deficient in every way because the things that they're putting in that they're calling food has no real value to the human body. It's just empty calories.
It's
Yeah.
true. And when I was in Hawaii is when I got married, had a baby, I swelled up, right? As when I got fat was in Hawaii. Coming over here to Japan and eating the diet we have here is where I lost all that weight. Right now, back down to my 230. Right. It is societal. It is cultural. Because here in Japan, it's the normal thing is for mom or dad. It's usually mom to make a fresh, healthy vegetable, with a little bit of meat-based meal every day. So people aren't eating tons of crap. They have it occasionally. Like with us, with the soda, and most people I know, like we'll have a soda as a treat. It's not a daily thing.
Mhm.
It's occasionally, right? And
Yeah.
and usually we'll get one of those pep bottles. I don't know how many ounces are in it, but it's probably 16 or so, I guess, 15. But we get one of those pep bottles, and my wife and I will share that occasionally. It's just the
Yeah.
society over here, and that's why there aren't a lot of fat Japanese running around,
Yeah. It's
aside from
like
sumo.
that. That's another thing too, man. Sugar. There's an absolute sugar epidemic, especially in the United States, man,
Sure.
because that stuff is in everything. You wanna be shocked. Go into a grocery store and just look at um those just look at the ingredients on almost anything. You'll find corn syrup or fructose or something like that in almost like 90% of everything in there. It's in soup, for God's sake.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you try to cut sugar out of your diet, you have to cut out like 90% of the stuff that you can buy in a grocery store.
You have to eat organic. You have to go back
Yeah,
to the way,
Sure.
like the Japanese eat. You have to eat organic and get away from the store food and
yeah,
eat more natural stuff
You do.
from the earth.
yeah. That's one of the good things I know about where I live as my family. We all live in the general same area, and we grow a family garden, a really big family garden. So we get a lot of our stuff out of there. But I mean, just things that you would think like you could eat that would be good for you is just it's chock full of bad stuff, man. It sucks because we make fun of like people eating rabbit food and stuff like that, but man, you have to. It's just if you don't, you're gonna be hooning crap down your throat.
Yeah, but I don't mind the diet I have.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good food, and usually what I do is, excuse me, Monday through Friday, I just don't have any sugar stuff. And on the
yeah,
weekend, I usually, depending on what I'm doing, every weekend I'll take my wife out and we'll go to dinner somewhere, right? Just on the weekends. Otherwise, we eat at home, and we'll get some dessert, ice cream or cake, or we'll get something. So I just eat my sugar stuff on the weekend. This is all. Monday through Friday, I don't eat it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's another cultural thing too. Here is just excess.
Hmm.
It is,
You know.
but the Japanese do a lot of those kind of things, and I'm sure there are many cultures that do that. But like we could take an aside, for instance, with a cell phone, right? I see many of these videos, many of these things online with little teeny kids running around with smartphones. Here in Japan, you're not allowed to have your smartphone until high school, right?
Yeah.
Not
Oh
before.
yeah. Well, dude, look at they're literally there's literally mental conditions now built around friggin' social media and cell phones.
Oh, sure,
There-
absolutely.
There's medical conditions that are developing that they're finding because people are so hunched over using their
Hmm.
cell phone now.
Yeah, I mean, there was I can't remember the report exactly, but there was a girl that she wouldn't get off of her friggin' smartphone in class, so the teacher took it away, and she literally started having palpitations. She couldn't deal with not having it there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, though. Of course, you don't have it in the classroom. The world is very different than it was when I was a kid. I see that the chat is still going on about Rick, and Booster is having fun over there bopping people in the head.
What?
Uh,
Okay, what's this thing with Rick?
Oh no, they're just trolling. Basically, I had the Jordan Quarter Fan Edition last week, and we got through the whole show, and I was the very end where I was about to reveal the winner. We're waiting for the straw poll to go, and I was going to reveal the winner, and I started having serious internet trouble, so I called it. Just all right, that's fine. We'll stop it here. I called it, and at that time, the winner was Jiminy Cricket, and I called it and I said thank you, and then I was losing my internet, but Manny from Good Dog Press, because we were doing his Skunk Girl, he said, "Hey, I'll go and do a quick launch, and we can come over and finish up and let everyone tell where they're from and all that kind of stuff." So we went over to there, and we're just kind of doing a close up of the show, and the straw poll, of course, was still going. It's not like it gets shut down, and by the end of that, over at Manny's side, Rick was leading now, but I'd already called it, right? But they were like complaining, like, "Well, no, Rick should go over and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh well, I'll ask Pixel. I mean, it's his show." And Pixel said, "No, we have a very consistent rule, and we're not going to adjust it. When it gets called, it's called, and that's that." I was like, "Okay." So I sent
There you go.
Jiminy's name over to Edwin to be on the show, and these guys are all, they're all a bunch of damn Canadians, is what they are, and they're just sitting here fighting for Rick. Because they're justice for the Rick. Okay,
Rick got Rick rolled.
he got Rick rolled. Take it to Pixel, baby. That's what I say.
Hey, Rick will get his chance, man. He'll get on there again. He'll
Well,
knock it
dude,
out.
if he comes on the show again, which I'm sure he will, he was like one of the first people on the show actually. And you guys want Rick to go to the pros, just come on and vote for Rick. I mean, it's that simple. And Booster says, "Eat it, nerds." Booster's having fun over there in the chat.
Awesome.
I suppose he didn't jump in here because I didn't drop the link into the main channel. I dropped it only into the role playing one, which we need to get out of here anyway.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, we couldn't do our show today. But I had some fun chatting with you guys, though. But
I
we do
appreciate it.
see this nonsense with Spider-Man, and now, of course, if you're a fan of Battle Angel Alita, you are an alt-right, whatever that means. Rumors: Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker crew told to stop criticizing Ryan Johnson, The Last Jedi. I heard about this too, but there's so much
Yeah,
to criticize. Marvel's Runaways actors Kip Pardue, dude, man, change your name, found guilty of sexual misconduct by the Screen Actors Guild. Was he? Was he? Did he look at a girl? Did he dare? Avengers and Justice League director Josh Whedon. We have a racist, fascist president. Well, thank you there, Mr. Whedon. Why don't you go back and rip off more people and make your supposed original shows? You go for that, sir. You keep doing you. Let me see here. Cosplayer of the day. Zema X Storm as Final Fantasy's Tifa. Well, let's check it out. We're gonna check it
yeah. We need
out.
let's end on her, man.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh, oh. Oh. She's a bit soft body, a little bit soft body, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
I
Damn,
like I like I like
damn,
I
she
like it.
knock you out with those tits though. Watch out. If it turns right or
Uh-huh.
left, you gotta dodge. But yeah, she good looking girl, I guess, and she's having fun. So you rock,
I'll
girl. You
take it.
go. Yeah, sure.
In
I'm
fact,
a
I'll
bit
take two.
biased when it comes to things like that, but if you guys seen my wife, you'd understand. Uh, so anyway, let's end it there, and we'll thank you guys for coming. Sorry for the trouble today, but it is what it is. You know, but at least we had some fun. We talked about being fat and that kind of stuff. And I'm sure I said a bunch of stuff that would upset people, and I'll probably get some community strike or something as usual. But hey, it is what it is. Are they yelling at me again? Hail, Rick! Rick is the greater than Jiminy. Okay. Oh my goddess, boobs. Stop the reverse racism. You are a married man, Chester. Yes, I am. Rick
Rick is
is
king. Rick
king.
is my lover.
Oh my God. As Booster says, nice bobs. Oops. Okay. But you people, worst TFT ever. Yeah, right, dude. That was a horrible TFT. We are going to come back with TFT this week, though. We did have trouble last week because YouTube decided to shut down Asia. Thank you, YouTube. And we just did the fan speak on day instead. But I'm really glad we did because having George Alexopoulos on, that was a great a chat, great interview. Really just gorgeous looking project if you guys hadn't checked that out. But of course, you can find all the projects that are going on through Indicron, which of course you guys know is a sponsor of this channel. And yeah, definitely get out there. And Nick W says, we talked about being fat. Chester 2019. Thank you, dude. But Mox, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
No, just thank you for letting me on. Check out my Twitter feed so you can find a bunch of really cool independent comic books that are looking to be funded.
Sweet. How about you, Bob?
No, man, it's just unfortunately we weren't able to play the game today, but that's just the way it is. And yeah, go check out my channel, Comic Book Bob, talking about the comics and everything and other ridiculous stuff. And come back here next week. We'll try to entertain you.
No, definitely. And let me see. Let me give my words of wisdom today. Okay. If she's too fat, roll her in flour and just look for the wet spot. Namaste, baby.
Oh, jeez.
Later, guys. Love you.